of the hot button subjects today is what Joey Votto, I don't know if you saw it last night, Andrew, going into the stands, and he sort of grabbed at the jersey of a fan or shirt of a fan to remind him whose team he's rooting for because he prevented him from catching a foul ball. What'd you think of that, Andrew?
I heard you guys talking about it over the break, so I went and checked it out. I think it's cool. I think anytime you get some fan interaction, it looked like he apologized. He sent a sign ball over or something. So, I think it's certainly something that fan will never forget. Hopefully, the players don't go too far, but, the experience for the fans at the ballpark is something we care about. And, something like that's got to be a pretty special memory. I hope it's not worse than that from what I saw, but it seemed like a neat experience. It seemed like a little apology, and he got a signed Joey Votto ball, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it seemed like it might have been a purple nurple at the very worst, Andrew, quite frankly. A little twister. This might be what will happen, And then fans who are in the stands yelling, an umpire ejected a fan last night in Philadelphia. Do you hear fans when you're out there on the mound? Be honest.
We do. In certain places, you can hear them better than others. Honestly, you almost hear them more in places where there's fewer fans because there's less competition for noise. But, I think most of us try to ignore it. There's a few guys that are pretty good at kind of talking back and popping off and getting a little conversation going. But, we hear it. I think certainly, there's times when people go too far and they're trying too hard. But for the most part, it's not bad. It's, you're the visiting team. You take a little ribbing. But, it sounds like last night the guy was going pretty far. And, we want the game to be clean. We want people to be able to bring their kids and have a good time and, a family experience as well. But, I think for the most part, it's not too bad, but it sounds like Bob Davidson was making a pretty good point last night.
What do you think of the idea the commissioner wants to move games along? He would limit the number of pitching changes to be made in a game. What do you think of that idea, Andrew?
I don't know. I don't like it. I think I'm all for the game being more enjoyable to watch, more enjoyable to attend, and I think that that's our responsibility to sell a better product in a sense, but I don't think that's the answer. I think there's a lot of ways to do it. I think it's good that we're trying to figure that out. That's certainly, we need to be conscious of what the fans are asking for. I don't think getting rid of relief pitchers or cutting down, that's the way to go. I think, there's certainly ways we can go about speeding up the game, and it's good that we're trying, but I don't think that's the answer.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.